Hello everybody, I am the Traveler and welcome back to Fare Thee Well. We're going to pick up right where we left off, which was with Emmeline smiling, and I've just realized I've forgotten the voice I've given her. I think the voice I gave the main character, I just used my own voice. So anyway, this makes Emmeline loosen up again, but only a little. That's good. I have to try and help her feel better. I hope I didn't spoil her night. I'll go ahead and take that as a compliment. Good. It was meant as one. I hadn't meant to bring up bad memories. Like I said, it's fine. It's nice to finally be able to talk to someone about it. It's all been bottled up so long. I know how you feel. You can keep going if you'd like. Well, the rest is a lot of the same. I packed up some clothes and some books and snuck out in the middle of the night. I stayed in the city a while, with friends and the like. Figured it was the safest way. After some time, though, I knew I had to get farther away than that. Somewhere my parents wouldn't find me. So I ran, wandered from place to place, took cabs and buses when I could, walked when I couldn't, hitchhiked when I absolutely needed to. It wasn't too safe, and as a girl, I had to be careful, but I was smart. I kept my eyes open, and it's taking me this far. How far is this far? Far enough. But, I don't know. I called my parents a few times, just to let them know I was still alive. I'm a good girl like that. At first, they're even more furious than they'd been while I was at home. They threatened to call the police after me. Threatened me when I said I wouldn't come home. But after some time, as I got farther and farther from home, as I was gone for longer and longer, they started to soften up. Hot rage turned to bold resentment. Resentment turned to disappointment. Disappointment turned to sadness, turned to regret, turned to apology, turned to them begging me to come home. Emily looked visibly shaken. I felt so bad for her. I knew how she felt, and I knew I had to let her finish. It's been more than 2 years since I left home. They started begging by the end of the first year. I couldn't take it, so I stopped calling them. I haven't spoken to them since. Emily gazes into her reflection caught on the polish of her empty glass, warm under the dim bar lights. The night has gone on, and many have left. Everything's quieter now. Everything is moving softer, going slower, like the night has entered into a dreamlike state. I place a hand on Emmeline's shoulder softly. I want to comfort her. You don't want to go home? No, I do. Believe me. This sort of life gets tiring us after a while. Having no safety, no security, always needing to move from place to place, searching for warmth every single night, and praying every single morning you'll be able to find work and to feed yourself. It drains you. It takes a lot away and it makes you lose your sense of place. You can't ever stay in one place too long. It feels like everything in your life has a time limit set on it. It ticks away, and it couldn't care less about what you want. The time runs out, and one by one everything in your life melts away. The people you meet, the things you gain, the sights you see, they leave, and you're left with nothing again. And do you know what you do then? Yeah, you start over. You feel like you don't have any control over anything, like you're not even the person living your life. You feel like you're only sitting back and watching events unfold, like you're an observer from the outside looking in on yourself. Emmeline seems surprised. It looks like I've understood her perfectly well. Right, that's how I feel. Thank you. Don't mention it. That's truly how I feel, and I hate it. I wanted to stop. I want to go home, but I can't. I just can't go home. I don't have it in me to go home. You're afraid of what will happen if you do? I'm beyond afraid. I'm petrified. I can't even breathe right when I think about seeing my parents again. Even though this journey has taken so much away from me, I feel like just giving up and returning home isn't going to give me any of that back. It isn't. I feel like if I want to get back everything that's been drained out of me, I need to find something. I don't know what, just that it's something I'm searching for. And if I find it, I can go back and live a normal life again. Emmeline sighs. If any of that makes sense to you. I try to assure her. Really, I understand. I'm in the same situation as you. I am. You run away too? Something like that, but I can't say much. Well, that's not suspicious. No, it's nothing like that. I'm not a criminal. Obviously. I'm not. I'm clean. I just need to travel a lot. It's something I have to do. I go from place to place like you and I search for things. I'm like you. Don't worry. I know you're like me. I don't know if I knew before we started talking, but I definitely know now. I think that's why I've told you so much about myself. I've never spoken so much about myself before. Not to anyone. Not in my whole life. I've never spoken much at all, really. So I've heard. So that's alright. You don't have to explain yourself to me. Consider it an apology for me spending the last hour talking about nothing but myself. I'm sorry for that. I dismiss her with a wave. Really, it's fine. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone like this either. And I'm glad I could help you finally open up about these things. Emmeline beams. Mm-hmm. And it's all thanks to the fact that you liked my singing so much you needed to tell me, huh? I laughed. Well, I did say you have a beautiful voice. We talk on and on, long into the night. We tell stories, learn about each other, come to understand everything there is to understand. Still, I don't tell her my secret. But the conversation brims with life anyway. I've not spoken like this to someone in a long time. I've not felt this way about someone in a long time. The night is long and full of joy. We keep each other's company, talking until we're the only ones left in the bar. Under the cover of the winter storm, under the dim bar lights, under the drowsy spell of insomnia, we talk and talk and talk until we can talk no more. Holy hell! You two have been sitting here and talking the whole night long. The bar's closing now. You're going to have to head on out. I'm sorry, sir. I hope we weren't to bother. You're fine, young lady. But you should have this young man escort you home. You've had a long night. But I'm not drunk, and I can speak perfectly fine, see? Yes, and it's unnerving considering how much you've had to drink. The bartender turns to me and gives me a wise, slow nod. I'll get her home safe. The snow has finally stopped, leaving behind a sleepy town draped in white. The snow is thick, cold, soft, like the stuff of dreams. It feels like the ground itself is sleeping, drifting in time and space, and frozen in winter silence. Dormant like a slumbering beast waiting to awaken in the snowmelt, its heart stilled by the seething cold. Like Emmeline and I are the only two waking people on the face of the entire planet. Emmeline grins at me smugly. My knight in shining armor, are you going to escort me home and protect me from all the evil monsters? I refuse to play into her game. Yes, I swear to always safeguard you from the evils that plague the town of Cedar, Maine. Sub-zero temperatures, and poorly paved roads. They really are so poorly paved. Yes, I've noticed. Your motel is across the bridge, right? My castle is, yes. Right, let's go on ahead. I refuse to play into a game, and yet I play into a game. And so we were off. Together we strolled in the cold, huddling close to each other for warmth. Thankfully, the walk wasn't too long. We talked all the way to Emmeline's motel, despite having done nothing but for hours already at the bar. Despite having done nothing but. By the way, Emmeline. Yeah? What is it? I was wondering if you knew what the meaning of that song you sang tonight was. The first one, that is. What? Loch Lomond? That's the one. It's Scottish. That's all I know. My mother taught it to me, just like her mother taught it to her. She taught me a lot of the folk music I know, really. I was never as big into heritage as she was. But to answer your question, no, I guess I don't know what it's about. I just sing the words. A folk singer who doesn't know what her songs are about? I like the songs. I love how they sound. I just don't know the traditional meanings behind each and every one of them. I suppose that's fair. But Loch Lomond, right? Isn't that about two people traveling down different roads? At the surface value, yes. It all comes back to Scottish tradition. It is believed that when a Scot dies while abroad, their soul will walk the earth to return to the mother country, so that the deceased may rest in their homeland. The road that these wandering spirits use to return to Scotland is called the Low Road, as mentioned in the song. The regular corporeal roads that living people like you and I use are the high roads. Excuse me. The high roads belong to the living, the low road to the dead. That belief is what the song centers around. That's a bit depressing, don't you think? Quite the contrary. Think about what the lyrics are saying. You sing from the perspective of a Scot who has died while traveling in a foreign land. You lament that, although the passage of time has taken your friends and your lover away from you, you will finally be able to end your journey and return to your home, where you can finally rest in peace. I don't know. It's still very depressing to me. I don't think so. I think it's bittersweet. The journey of the singer has come to an end, but now that it's over, they can return to where they belong. I don't know. Personally, I love the song. Sometimes I feel like I take solace in it. You find comfort in a song that tells you you're going to die? I do. We all die, and every death is an ending. What the song tells me is this: when my time comes, it will be when I have done all I can in my life. I will have found what I was searching for, and I'll have brought it home with me. It tells me that it will be my end, not that I'll be stuck like I am, unchanging, constantly moving, always searching. This person I am right now is in constant flux, and the days of my life are numbered with a clear beginning and a fateful end. I don't see any problem in that. In fact, considering neither of us has slept all night, some rest sounds like exactly what we need right now. Emmeline goes quiet, and she takes in everything I say. Yeah, I suppose you're right. We could both use some rest. You know, maybe not. Just before we reach the motel, Emmeline stops me in my tracks. She points off to the side of the path where a small park lies unlit in the snow. Hey, is something wrong? No. She's acting incredibly meek. Did I say something I shouldn't have? There's a cute little park here where I come to sit sometimes. It's on top of a big hill, and if you're seated on the benches, you can watch the sunrise and sunset from here. It's beautiful. I'd like to sit and watch the sunrise here with you, if you'd want to do that. She wants to watch the sunrise with me? Emmeline, it's late. We should really get you to your room. Emmeline points to the sky, and it does look like the sun is about to rise. Violet and pink hues are starting to show in the sky, shining in faint ripples in between the clouds. See? You might as well just stay outside the whole night. She laughs softly. It looks like we just did anyway. She's right. It had completely gone unnoticed, but we really have spent the whole night together. A new day was about to dawn. I'd forgotten how quickly time could pass when you're with a certain kind of person. When you're with someone like Emmeline. You're right. Looks like we stayed up the whole night together. I chuckled. We are horribly irresponsible. Emmeline laughs more. Just a little bit. Hold on. Okay, sorry. My nose would not stop running. Okay, better now. And I can breathe too. Yay. We find a bench overlooking the hillside. I wipe the snow off of it with the sleeve of my coat, and we sit down close to each other for warmth. Emmeline pulls herself even closer to me, tugging at my arm. She leans her head on my shoulder and shuts her eyes. You don't mind, do you? I'm so tired. I think I'll rest my eyes for a while until the sunrise starts. It's fine. I think I'll do the same thing. I close my eyes and rest my thoughts. It's been a wild night, and I'm so tired. Hey, Emmeline? Yeah? I'm going to tell you a story. It's a short story, but it's a complicated one. It's an important one. At the end of the story, you're going to have to decide what happens next. I want you to be completely honest with me when I ask you to do that. Alright? Emmeline yawns. Alright. Alright. I hope I'm making the right choice here. How do I even begin to explain? Say, in the world, there's a young man out there who's been given the gift of eternal youth. At first, that young man was amazed. He was filled with joy. He was forever young, forever handsome, and forever strong. The passage of time had no effect on him. It didn't chip away at him like it did everyone else he knew. He spent some time loving this new life of his, until he realized that the gift he'd been given was, in the end, a curse. Eventually, the young man saw what the passage of time could really do. He saw all the people he cared about wither away, one by one. Family, friends, lovers. He could have done nothing but watch as each and every one of them fell into the grip of death from which he had been spared. He saw the places he knew as a child crumble into dust, forgotten, thrown away like false memories. First he lost his home, then his people, then his own way of life. He was forced to escape, to break out and enter into a new world where he did not belong. He felt lost in that new world, hopeless, alone, forgotten. But eventually, he got used to it. He realized there wasn't any point in wallowing in despair at the life he's been given. And so he started to rebuild. He gave himself a new life, a new identity. But he lived knowing that there was one thing he could never do. He could never stay in one place for too long. If he did, he knew he would build bonds. He would form memories. with the new places he found and the new people he met. He would make friends. He would feel emotions all over again in all their full intensity. And that was something he could not afford, because he knew any bond he built would come only crashing down upon him in the end. The more people he came to know, the more people whose departures would hurt him. The more time he spent in any one place in the world, the more pain he was damning himself to suffer. He was truly cursed. All he could do was run farther and farther and farther, as far as he could go, toward infinity. As long as time continued to pass, he suffered the life of a wanderer, destined to be alone. But one night, he meets someone, and that someone makes him feel some way he had not felt since before his journey ever began. Someone special, someone like him who understood him, who felt his pain, who knew how it felt to endure. He thinks he's found someone that could teach him how to love again. But he knows if he stays there with that person he's found, he will only hurt them in the end. Because if he stays with that someone, they will age and he will not. They will die and he will not. And in his failure to die, he would rob them their chance at a normal life. He would take their life as his own, and, in the end, he will find himself all alone again. What does he do then? What choice does he make? Does he stay, or does he leave? Does he chase that chance at true emotion, even if he knows, in the end, it will only cause despair? Tell me, what choice does he make? She fell asleep. What choice does he make, Emmeline? What choice do I make? Emmeline? I open my eyes. I see the sun has begun to rise. To my side, Emmeline is fast asleep, I knew it. I take a long, final look at her. She's so beautiful. Her heartbeat pulses through her skin, through her dress, through her coat, all the way to me. I can feel it drum steadily against me. I can feel it throb over and over again, full of such amazing life. I watch her, her breath freezing as it comes out in the crisp cold air. Her skin is soft and warm to the touch. I think of her, and how she treated me, a stranger who hadn't even told her his name, with nothing but kindness. This is a real person beside me, with a real heart pumping real blood, with real emotions and real thoughts, the most beautiful voice I've ever heard in my life. This is Emmeline. No matter how greatly I long to be with her, I cannot stay with her, and she cannot stay with me. It was never meant to be. I stand up carefully, holding her still to make sure she doesn't wake up. Once I'm off the bench, I set her down to be as comfortable as I can be. You can't just leave her out there in the cold. What kind of douche are you? Thankfully, it's warming up, and I think she'll wake up soon after I leave. Just in case, I take off my coat and wrap it around her to make sure she's warm enough. I glance at the sunrise out on the horizon. I can't bear to look at it too long. I turn back, gaze at her one last time. The girl in the green dress, sleeping on the park bench. If only things had been different, then perhaps I could be happy once more. I begin to walk away. I stop myself from looking back. Emmeline, I'm sorry. Goodbye. I walk away into wilderness. I walk our way into wilderness as the sun rises over the trees. I vanish like a ghost from a dream, wiping tears from my eyes. All I leave behind are footprints in the snow that is soon swept away by winter wind. June 13th, 1987. We're skipping ahead 20 years or so, which seems like a good place to go ahead and save. I'm just gonna save in this one location because it doesn't appear like I have any choices in anything. This is just a story that I'm going through, which a really cool story, mind you. So basically, I'm immortal. How old is this guy, I wonder? How long has he actually been alive for? Wait, I wonder what the secret was we missed. That's, like you said, yeah, that's kind of a curse. Like, some people wish to be immortal, but, like, if you are mortal, you outlive everyone you meet. You outlive your friends, your families, the people you fall in love with. You think it's a gift, but really, it is a curse. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, give that like button some love, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Right. I have a woman at my